What could you do to make your mobile DJ system more efficient and more lightweight? This answer is going to be different for every DJ out there because we all have different equipment, wants, needs, size of audience that we're performing for, and so on. Today I'm going to look at mine. This is just the basic system, and there are a few pieces that aren't here. I'm missing my Pro Vent table, my computer bag, and my mixer case. They're downstairs. We'll have a look at those a little later on. I think I've done a pretty good job lighting up this, but there's always room for improvement. Some things we can do for free too. Some things might cost a few bucks. We're going to go through every single component, figure out if I'm doing the smart thing or not, and then figure out if there's anything else I could do to make it better. Forgive the dogs barking in the neighbor's lawnmower. Way back there you see my Evolve 30Ms. I use those for most of the events that I do. Remember, this is my basic system. If I need more speakers, I bring more speakers, but those work for most of the mobile events I do. Weddings, around 100 people, give or take 20. They work great, and what's really cool about them, from my point of view, is that they eliminate the use of tripods, and I don't have to carry anything heavy. They're pretty lightweight. I don't use subwoofers for basic events. That's an add-on. I do have subwoofers. I like subwoofers, but most of the events that I do, I don't need them. I think I'm pretty good with those speakers. I can't think of anything that would really give me the SPL that I need and the ease of use and setup that these offer. Let's have a look at the cable bag. I know it's kind of sad looking, but it's served me well for many years, and the bag makes it pretty lightweight. However, there's a lot of stuff in here, and I don't think I need everything. If I open this up, just for a basic system, what do I need? Here is an extension cord. Here is a speaker cable. Here is an extended IEC cable. Another XLR speaker cable. Regular old IEC cable. And let's just do one more extension cable. This will set up my basic mobile system in most cases. No problem. I don't need more XLR. I don't need more extension cords. I don't need more IECs. So this is all I really need, and it doesn't weigh very much. However, I've got all of this stuff in the bag. Doesn't seem like much, but it all adds up. So there's a lot of extra XLR cables. There's a lot of extra IEC extensions. There's also regular IECs and other extension cables. At my last gig, there was a performer who needed an extension cable in addition to what I had. So it'd be smart to bring maybe another extension cable, maybe, I don't know, let's say a spare XLR, a spare IEC, and I think my extra extension cable ended up on the bottom here. This should cover me, even with extras. So this stuff could really go away. It's not a lot, but it could. I've got an extra long AC extension cord that might be helpful, but other than that, I could probably eliminate the rest of that and just go down to that, just basic that. Believe it or not, this is my entire light show right here. I have 6 8 Lab Maxi 2.0s in here, plus I've got the control unit antennas, the remote control for it all, and the charging pack. This is a charging case. This is the basic setup, keep that in mind, but I use this for most of the events that I do. And some people are like, well, you're not using any kind of gig bar, or you think you're shining out on the audience? No. I found out a long time ago that if you just take these lights and do like an uplighting thing, set them on the ground, it produces a better effect and a nice wash effect on the dance floor than anything I could shine at the dance floor for the type of events that I do. So it's kind of like uplighting, but that light does reflect off of ceilings, off of walls. You can create some amazing designs, and you're not dealing with any tripod setup at all. It's really nice and simple that way. I've done some beautiful lighting schemes just with this kind of stuff. Really nice stuff. Much nicer looking than any gig bar or moving head could ever do. So I'm sold on the parts. I'm sold on the battery powered one, so I don't have to plug anything in, carry cables around, worry about outlets, trip hazards. I'm loving the RF remote, where I can go ahead and use this within a 100-foot line of sight and control these lights in sync and make them do some pretty cool things. Fades, flashes, chases, you name it. However, this box is probably one of the heaviest pieces of gear that I have. It's a nice, heavy case, and it's great for charging, but it's got some weight to it. I don't know if it's the heaviest. I don't know if it's heavier than the bottoms on my Evolve 30Ms, but it's pretty close. And it carries awkward. This handle isn't super comfortable. They do make like a Pelican style case for these. I was supposed to get one, but I never did, and I kind of gave up on it. That would lighten it up a little bit, but I'm almost thinking if I really wanted to, because I don't charge lights at events, right? If I really wanted to, what I could do is charge these at home in the case, and then take them individually out of here, the 6 lights, plus the remote control, and put them in a nice nylon bag to carry them in. I'm going to look into some options for nylon bags. I might have something here, but that would lighten things up significantly. I don't use this on the road, this Connect. I don't charge anything on the road. And yeah, I mean, they're pretty robust lights. I'm not worried about them getting beat up in a soft case. I think they'd be just fine, especially if there were dividers in the case. This video is sponsored to you today by Hollywood DJ, located on 11th Street in Los Angeles, California. If you need any equipment at all, give my pal Alan down there a call. Tell him I sent you, he'll hook you up. There's nothing in it for me, but I promise you, you're going to do better calling a retailer like Alan and getting pricing from him than you would be just clicking order online from some other place, or any place really. It's a map price thing. Anyway, thank you Hollywood DJ for being one of our channel sponsors. That's my rock and roller cart. It's an R14G. I've had it for the better part of 10 years. It's given me 0 problems. I don't know how many carts I've been through, and I've blown them out. The wheels, the bearings, tires flat, the whole frame bending, you name it. But that thing has been great. It doesn't weigh a ton. I will admit that it's a little awkward for a one-handed guy like me to put together, get the handles up and such because of the cabling system that's on there. But it's good. It's expandable from 4 feet to 8 feet, and it takes care of most of my loading headaches. As long as it's handicap accessible, I can get in and out of an event pretty easy. Yeah, I mean, there are other carts I could get that weigh less or smaller or whatever, but I think this one's serving me well. I don't know there's much I can do about the cart. I'm kind of there with it. But, you know, in Fantasyland there are some options that we'll discuss a little later on. That's the Pro Event table in powder coated black, all disassembled in the corner. Set up, it looks like this with the Evolve 30Ms on the side. This is from just the other day on Monday. I can actually set this up quicker than I can a 6-foot banquet table. I like the height because it puts me at 35 inches. So that's good on my back. I think it looks nice too. It's a great table. It's 2 feet deep. It's 4 feet wide. That's about perfect for what I'm doing. It gives me a little extra room to work. Not too small, not too big. I have to carry it in 3 pieces. They do make a bag for it, but that would be way too cumbersome for me to even pack up, let alone carry. Because altogether, it weighs quite a bit. But in separate pieces, it's not too bad. Would I like to find a different option? Yeah, I would, but I can't think of anything that would work better for me than the Pro Event table. I can get this thing set up in probably a minute. It doesn't take long at all. And I've seen other options, and they're not very deep, and they might be a little more cumbersome. I have a headliner table, but that wouldn't work out real well for me either. I like it for home, but not for mobile. So, yeah, I don't know what the answer is here. Yeah, the easy answer would be just use a provided table at the venue, but as you know, they're not always provided. Like I said, I prefer the height on this anyway. And yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking the only thing that could be done here. If it could be done right, and I haven't seen it done right yet, would be to combine something like the rock and roller cart and the Pro Event table into one piece. That was not cumbersome to set up, that was not heavy, that made your job easier, not harder. Yeah, they've got rock and roller carts that have tabletops on them, but they're not very deep, they're not very good looking. I don't know. For now, this is what I've got. And until somebody reinvents the wheel, this is what I'm going to be using. Here's a piece I'm pretty happy with. I don't know how many improvements I could make on it. If you've got some ideas, please let me know. But this is my mixer case, and I think it works pretty well considering the weight is fantastic on it. And I'm not using a controller, I'm just using a battle mixer. I do have a DDJ 800 if I need a controller for something. But yeah, this S9 mixer from Pioneer is pretty nice. Here's my wireless microphone receiver, goes there. And then I've put a grommet in here for a mic stand where I can screw this in and have a nice mic stand, because you know you can't do anything while you're holding a microphone if you're one-handed. Here's the lead extension cable that goes to the wall. Here are the antennas for the mic receiver, go there. Of course, you pull this off, access headphones, volumes and such for aux and stuff. This is the microphone, of course, goes here on the mic stand. And what I've done here is I've put together pigtails. I've got a power supply for my laptop built in here. I also have leads for the wireless microphone. It's DC and quarter into an auxiliary. It works really good. And then here are the leads for the power for the laptop and the USB for the sound card. I really like how this is together. And you know, I can hide the cables and clean it up or whatever, but it's really pretty simple. And it doesn't weigh a lot. And I don't know what I could do to improve this to make it weigh less and be more efficient. At first I wanted to build in the mic receiver, but you never know where you want to put the mic receiver. It might need to be a little higher or in a little different location than where you might have it mounted in a case. And I don't want to deal with the big fins. And I've never had a problem. So yeah, I'm just using it like that and it works really good. I like the mixer. I don't use half of the stuff on here, but it works really good. Great sound card, great outputs. Yeah, I think I did pretty well on this piece. But if you have some ideas on how I can improve it, let me know in the comment section. And the jetpack for carrying my computer and things around in. Big improvement from last year. Last year I was carrying around a very heavy laptop. I've downsized the laptop. It's much faster, smaller, lighter, and I can put everything in this jetpack right here. I'm going to go ahead and figure out where the zippers are. Open the front pocket to show you what's inside. All right, so my wireless microphone, keep it in here. Pair of headphones right here. Instead of using a backup computer, I've gone tablet with DJ from Algorithm and just put essential tracks on it. It's a nice thing to have just in case there's an emergency with your laptop. Here's some backup. Here's an extra power supply. I had mentioned there was a power supply built into my mixer case, but here's a backup just in case. I mean, that's the responsible thing to do, right? Carry that around in the bag. Here is the laptop stand. I wanted to put this in the cable bag, but I almost can't because sometimes I'm DJing bars and clubs where I'm not bringing that particular case. Not only that, but sometimes I'm using a DDJ 800 controller, or sometimes I'm using a smaller club rack that gets me into really tight spaces if I need it. Of course, here's the wireless mouse, and I've got various cabling and stuff in here, just in case. Batteries, extra batteries. I've got some pharmaceuticals in here just in case I got a headache or heartburn or something. So that's the front. And then if we look at the back here, there's not much here at all. This is pretty much just the laptop, which is small and lightweight. It's this nice Alienware laptop that I picked up last year. I think it weighs like 6 pounds, and it's got a 4 gigabyte solid state drive in it, a nice Samsung. Plus it's got like a 1 terabyte drive in it for a main drive. I can expand it to even more if I want to, but it's more than enough. This, like I said, is a huge improvement over what I had last year with the big Republican Gamers machine from the early 2010s probably. So I think I'm doing pretty good here. I'm not sure what I can do to lighten this up, but if you got ideas, let me know. That's the basic setup. What can I really do to make it better? Well, like I said, I could put those Ape-Lite Maxi 2.0s in a nylon bag. That would eliminate the need to carry around that case. I could also go ahead and lighten up my cable bag, just bring essentials. I've talked to people who said, yeah, I bring more cables, but I don't bring them in with me. So maybe a cool thing to do would be to make a cable bag to just grab and bring into the event, and then have an extra one that I just leave in the truck with whatever spare cables I might need. If I need them, I can go out to the truck and get them when I'm setting up. But the rest of it, I don't know. I think I did a really good job on that mixer, putting that together. I mean, for me, right? If you've got ideas on that, like I said, please let me know in the comment section. I'd love to know what they are. Share them with me. There's no bad ideas. They're just ideas. I'm working with one hand, and as you can see, even this arm is screwed up. I'm going to physical therapy for it right now. So I've had to kind of build things where I can use them in my kind of weird disposition, and they're effective. And I will say this, everything that I've put together has been an improvement on what I had before. I've never downgraded anything. When I went with the lights on the ground instead of the tripods, it made my light show better. Thought it was a compromise, but it actually made it better. You got to be a lighting designer and kind of a guerrilla lighting designer whenever you go into a venue, but yeah, it's a better light show, and it's not shining bright lights in anyone's eyes. It's not unsightly tripods and stuff on a stick. I like it, and that's my personal thing, right? You may like something else, and that's fine, but coming from where I'm at, I think it's a great option. When I went column arrays, not only did I get better coverage, not only was the sound not as harsh on people's ears, but I was no longer lifting a heavy speaker up onto a tripod, or even using tripods at all. I mean, I'm carrying the sub part of that array low. I'm not picking it up high unless I'm putting it in the truck and it's not even that high. It would be really cool if we could come up with a cool cart table solution, and I know there's some stuff out there, but nothing that's turning me on and that I think would work for me. And I know there are all-in-one solutions like the Toad booth. That's like moving a piano for a guy like me, and it's not going to work for every type of event that I do, because I'm not going to have accessibility at every type of event that I do. I need to be a little flexible with when I'm working, depending on where I'm at. It's going to work great for some, not for others. Not to mention, I need a special vehicle to haul it, and a ramp, and probably help to get in and out. But yeah, what are some things that you think you could do to lighten the load on your system? Let us know in the comments section. I'd be real curious to know. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you in advance for all of your suggestions. We'll see you next time. Practice and enjoy.